She cries, and suddenly you are the one who is wrong, even though in your heart you know you are right. She says, "I did not mean it." And all her mistakes are forgiven, while a single direct statement from you is a crime. She tells a story about you, and the whole world believes her without any proof. Listen, you are not going crazy. What you are feeling, it is completely real. This is the world we have to face. And strangely enough, over 100 years ago, there was a grumpy old man who saw through all of this. Do you ever feel tired? Tired of always having to guess? Guessing whether she is happy or sad today? Guessing what nothing really means? Tired of trying to solve problems with reason, but always ending up being the one who has to back down and apologize first? Why is that? Why do we men always seem to be playing a game whose rules we never learned? There was a man named Arthur Schopenhauer. He did not use fancy words. He looked straight at the truth, no matter how ugly it was. He stripped bare the things that we, even today, still try to cover up with phrases like "love requires sacrifice" or "women are just complicated like that." And I want to be clear with you, this video is not a moral lesson. I am not here to teach you how to live. Consider it a conversation between two men, between me and you. I will show you the map of the game you are stuck in. A map that points out the traps, the shortcuts, and the emergency exits. It will show you that the actions that seem random actually follow a very old rule. The purpose of this is not for you to become hateful or bitter. No. It is for you to be awake. It is for you to stop wasting your time, your money, and your emotions on battles you are destined to lose. It is for you to understand the rules of the game, so you are no longer a clueless player, but one who controls his own chessboard. In this video, we will look at 6 unspoken rules that Schopenhauer pointed out. 6 truths that once you know them, you will not be able to unsee everywhere. Stay with me until the end, because the 6th rule might completely change how you start a relationship. So, what is the first unspoken rule? The root of everything that you need to understand. Let us start here. You think that when a woman comes to you, what she is looking for is love, connection, you as a person. That is the story that movies and society tell us. A very beautiful story. But Schopenhauer did not think so. He said that behind all of that there is another motive, a much more powerful and primal one. It is not personal emotion. It is not romantic love. It is something biological. He called it the will to life. It sounds complicated, but let me put it in the simplest way. Imagine that in every woman there is a software installed from birth, an operating system. And this operating system does not care about poetry, does not care about promises, does not care how much you love her. It has only one single mission, an undeniable command, to seek the best conditions for survival and reproduction. What does that mean? It means it will automatically scan for a man who can provide security, stability, and resources. Not because she's a bad person or has intentions to deceive you, no, but because that software is running in the background 24/7. It is like your heart beating without you having to command it. And here is how it works. The weapon of this operating system is not fists or aggression. It is seduction, softness, a smile, a gaze. The things you thought were expressions of love. Things that have been honed over millions of years of evolution to be extremely effective. Have you ever wondered why you are attracted to a specific woman? That feeling, you call it love at first sight, destiny. But Schopenhauer said that it is actually a biological lever. Love is just the beautiful user interface on the outside. While the real purpose, the code running underneath, is an instinctual choice. But if the will to life is the invisible software, then what is the hardware? The most visible weapon it uses? That brings us to the second unspoken rule, a brutally harsh truth. This is something we men have to spend our whole lives to understand. We have to become someone. We have to study, work hard, build a career, prove our worth. We have to build. And women at their peak, they just need to be present. This is one of the most unequal truths. A man's power is built from sweat and tears. A woman's power is largely inherited at birth. It is beauty, it is youth, it is fertility. Schopenhauer called this a type of biological endowment. Think of it like this. A beautiful 20-year-old girl can walk into a room and immediately get the attention, the protection, the pursuit of the most successful men without having to say a single word about herself, about her intellect or her character. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old man has nothing. He has to start from zero. Do you see the disparity here? And it is this very disparity that creates a massive danger. Power that is not earned through sweat is rarely appreciated. And when that power begins to fade with time, with every wrinkle, with every passing year, the woman who has built her entire world upon it will face a silent collapse. The attention diminishes. The invitations become fewer. The doors that were once wide open suddenly close. That is when bitterness begins to set in. So, when this visible weapon begins to weaken, what kind of weapon will they turn to? An invisible one, but one that is infinitely more powerful. We will talk about it in the next part. In the previous part, we talked about how when the visible weapon of beauty begins to weaken, another type of weapon will be used, an invisible weapon, and one that is infinitely more powerful. That is the third unspoken rule. The power of silence and emotional warfare. Listen, let us be honest with each other. Have you ever been in an argument where you walked in with 100% truth and logic on your side, but when you walked out, you were the one who had to apologize for something you did not even understand you did wrong? If the answer is yes, then welcome to the battlefield. Schopenhauer said that the most dangerous power in this world is not the power of money or muscle. No, it is the power that no one recognizes. The power hidden behind the appearance of weakness. Think about it. A teardrop, and it instantly becomes a command you cannot refuse. Her terrifying silence can then becomes a punishment more brutal than 1,000 curses. They do not attack your reasoning. They know they cannot win there. They attack your emotional stability. In modern relationships, this is called frame control. What does it mean? It means whoever controls the emotions of the game decides the rules of the game. By making you feel guilty, they turn your logic into cruelty. They turn your truth into heartlessness. Your calmness suddenly becomes a threat. And you, a man, taught to be strong, to be a protector, not to hurt women, what do? You will give up your clarity, you will back down, you will tell yourself you are doing it for the sake of peace. But that is not peace, that is a psychological war that you have lost. You have been disarmed without even knowing it. And what happens when this war, say, is taken to a higher level? When it is legalized with a piece of paper and acknowledged by the entire society? That brings us to the fourth unspoken rule, marriage, the legalized surrender. Society paints you a beautiful picture. Marriage is a sacred union, a peaceful harbor, a place to build a home. Schopenhauer looked at that picture and he called it by another name, the trap, a trap decorated with roses and vows. Let us look at the truth. When a man enters marriage, he thinks it is a partnership. He thinks he's building a future together with the woman he loves. But in reality, Schopenhauer said, he is building a system that revolves around the comfort and emotions of the other person. His time is no longer his. His money is no longer his. Even his dreams are gradually bent to revolve around making her happy. He becomes an ATM, an emotional dumpster, a problem solver. He becomes a tool. And the most valuable, most brutal line is this. Marriage is where a man's romantic ideals die, so that a woman's survival reality can flourish. The vows you say at the altar, they are like a contract written in the language of love. Today people call it by fancier names, partnership, equality, but look deeper. Has the fundamental game changed? Or is it still, the man has to give more, expect less, and smile while carrying it all? And to ensure this system, this trap, operates smoothly, society has created an almost perfect shield for one side, an ultimate defense mechanism. We will talk about it in the next part. In the previous part, we talked about the marriage trap and how society has created a shield to protect that system. Now, we will take a closer look at that shield. The fifth unspoken rule, moral immunity, or simply put, double standards. Let us be honest, you have surely seen this hundreds of times. When a man abandons his family, he is a terrible person, a failure. When a woman does it, she's on a journey to find herself. When a man lies, he's a manipulator, untrustworthy. When a woman does it, she's just fighting for survival in a harsh world. When a man is cold, he is heartless. When a woman is cold, she is setting boundaries and protecting her energy. Do you see this farce? Schopenhauer called this moral immunity. It is a system that society implicitly agrees upon. where the vices of one side are renamed, relabeled as virtues, where cruelty is called self-care, where manipulation is justified as insecurity. In today's era, it is even taken to a new level with what is called cancel culture. With just one accusation, one story told, a woman can completely destroy a man's reputation and career without any concrete evidence. And the crowd out there, they do not need the truth. They just need a story that is moving enough. They just need someone to play the victim and someone to play the villain. Schopenhauer said that society always treats women as if they are perpetual children, always fragile and about to break. And it is this very treatment that has created a system where they never have to take full responsibility for their actions. They can be the ones who light the fire, but then still be seen as the ones who need to be rescued from the flames. If you have ever experienced or witnessed such a brutal double standard, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. This not only lets me know you are listening, but it also lets the algorithm know that discussions like this need to be heard by more men. And this brings us to the final unspoken rule, the foundation for everything we have talked about. This is Schopenhauer's most controversial, most hated, and also his most profound idea. Rule number 6, the inability to achieve genius bound to the surface. As soon as you hear this, you might think he's looking down on women. But no, listen carefully. When Schopenhauer talked about genius, he was not just talking about intelligence. He was talking about something else. Genius for him was the obsessive, painful, and lonely pursuit of truth. The desire to dig to the very bottom of a problem despite being misunderstood, hated, or shunned by the entire world. It requires a terrible sacrifice, the sacrifice of comfort, of social relationships, of the need to be accepted by others. And here's the harsh truth. The nature of women, according to Schopenhauer, is designed to serve life, not to transcend it. Their instincts always pull them back to the tangible, the immediate, relationships, social status, security, emotions. They are programmed to connect, to maintain harmony, to manipulate their immediate environment. But the path of genius is the path of isolation, of severance, of betraying that very life instinct. This is not a put-down. This is a philosophical explanation, a cold observation. It explains why when a man and a woman face an uncomfortable truth, the man tends to want to solve the problem, while the woman tends to want to solve the feeling that the problem causes. Their first reaction is often to use emotion to bend the truth, instead of accepting the truth to analyze it, because to instinct, immediate harmony is more important than long-term truth. So, we have gone through the 6 unspoken rules together, 6 raw truths that Schopenhauer bravely laid out. From the survival software running deep inside, to the weapon called beauty, to the psychological warfare and arguments, the marriage trap, moral immunity, and finally the different approaches to truth. After dissecting all of this, what are we left with? A bunch of bitter theories and a dark view of women? No. If you think that, then you have missed the most important point. Schopenhauer was not a misogynist. Think of him as a doctor. A good doctor is not one who gives you sugar-coated pills. A good doctor is one who dares to look straight at the tumor, name it, and tell you the harsh truth about your condition. He's diagnosing the disease of illusion, of the lies we tell ourselves and each other every day. He exposed all of these things not to destroy love, not to destroy relationships, but for you to have the chance to build them on a different foundation, a more solid foundation. The foundation of truth instead of sweet lies. Our modern world makes a fatal mistake. It constantly pretends that women have no power, that they are always the weaker side, always the victims. And it is this very pretense that makes their power even more dangerous because it is allowed to operate in the shadows, unchecked, unnamed. And this leaves us with one final question. A question not just for them, but for you, for all of us. Society is always preaching about equality. Equality, equality, equality. So, if you truly want equality, why do you expect to be treated like a special, fragile being who can never be wrong and never has to be held accountable? What are your thoughts? After hearing all of this, which unspoken rule hit you the hardest? Which strategy have you experienced yourself? Share honestly and fearlessly in the comments below. This is a safe space for us to speak the truth.